Hello. Hi. Go. Yeah. Do the Thunderbirds music if your desk goes up.
Yeah, I came across your CV earlier. Words to the wise, laminate them in future. Yeah.
All right, are we ready, gentlemen?
We are good.
Are we live, Mr. Middy? Some souls. Okay, last session.
Episode 6 run now.
Really?
Are we?
So,
Goes to his
session.
character sheet and counts as advances.
We haven't got 6 advances because I'm not quite giving you an advance per session.
Nah, they're not long enough.
I'm kind of giving you an advance per segment, which reminds me, for Otis, you do have an advance from last session.
Thank you.
Which we didn't spend for you, but I think everybody else spent. So last session, you had gone down into the Horse Eater Bog, where you discovered the origin of the bog's name by fighting a rather nasty creature known as the Horse Eater, along with a load of undead, walking dead creatures and 2
Bloody ones.
Bloody ones, yeah. All in all, quite a nasty turn of events, though you were able to succeed with some very judicious use of dynamite.
Dynamite.
Lots of dynamite.
No dynamite. I think no dynamite would have been fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, dynamite really helped. And so you do. You defend some spells. Yeah, the defense spells really helped as well.
Yeah.
So you dispatched those, and you had met with the Indian who had been hiding up in the tree. Specifically,
Never Smiles.
Never Smiles. That is correct. Where he told you about the camp that he had overseen 2 individuals killing the miners, that they looked more like white men than they did like Indians, although they were sort of dressed in sort of some Indian clothing. The only thing to really link them to anything significant was a leaflet which matched the same leaflet that you'd found in the camp where you met the weird, strange trader. On that basis, knowing that you did, so you had Lacey O'Malley and his surviving cameraman a little bit shaken up. They'd taken a number of photos, and he'd taken some sort of some notes and things for his epitaph, tombstone epitaph article, where he would exonerate the Indians from the death of the miners and kind of pin it on some unknown white folk who were sort of seemingly related to this church.
Oh no! Did we not? We pinned it on with them.
Oh, that's right.
On the Horse Eater.
That's correct.
I asked the guy from the epitaph who told him to come here, and he said it was
The preacher, wasn't it?
the preacher in town. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And they would chuck the bodies into the swamp.
Yeah. Well, we chucked them under the pile of corpses.
That's right.
Correct. Okay, yeah, that's correct. That is exactly what he's meant to write. Okay. So at that point, late in the day, as it is, you will head back to Deadwood. By the time you reach Deadwood, it is going to be very late at night, closing on for almost 9 p.m. Darkness has fallen. It's getting cold and chilly here. And you make your way, as always, to the Grand Central Hotel with Lacey and the cameraman in tow, who immediately go off to seek accommodation in the hotel and get themselves sorted out and changed. Never Smiles and his companion oh God, what was he called? I'm trying to find it. Angry Clouds.
Hmm.
They kind of take their leave as you approach town. They kind of slip around some of the. So on your way back, what you'll notice now is that the troops of Custer have started to put camps around. As far as the plains around Deadwood goes, there are lots of little sort of pickets and tents that you can see, fires, etc. And there are people out on the roads patrolling. And as you kind of get towards the entrance to Deadwood, the Indians kind of peel off from you and they go off into the darkness and sort of say they'll make their way around the hills and down to see Charlie Bull and give him their account of the events. So that kind of leaves you all with the rest of the evening to yourselves.
I think at some point we were going to meet the guy from the Epitaph, weren't we, for a drink?
Yeah.
But it's going to be get bathed first.
All right.
Yeah. What wash the dead people off?
Yeah.
Wash the dead people off. Okay. So by the time you've all kind of cleaned up, freshened up, dropped off horses, made sure horses were being fed, you have, you've all come back down and congregated down in the bar of the Grand Central Hotel. It's probably close to 10 o'clock at this point. And Lacey kind of comes down on his own and kind of heads over to you and smiles as he joins you at your table. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Good evening, partner.
Interesting day. Are all your days interesting like this?
Mostly. We do live
You're
in
looking for-
interesting times.
We do. You're looking for somebody to tell your story across the Wild West?
Not really. I tend to find that I like to keep my story to myself.
Well, Padre, I could certainly keep your name out of it. What about the rest of you fine folk? You're looking for fame and fortune across the reach of the Epitaph?
Not particularly.
No, not really.
Yeah, not looking for my name being given out.
Oh, okay. Well, a drink then.
Thank you, sir. I'll have a beer.
And he kind of gestures over and he gets you a beer and he gets a couple of bottles of whiskey and he starts to generally enjoy the evening with you.
Yeah, I'll explain that it's nothing personal. It's just that getting your name splashed all over the place tends to put a target on your back.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
She should be on a wanted poster.
today was one of those days where we just want to clear a good man's name.
Well, I think, and he kind of lowers his voice in that kind of slightly conspiratorial way. I think you certainly did that, my friends. So, look, you want to be kept out of the news. I get that. I can respect that. How about understanding what's in the news?
Well, that's good, but more importantly, I'd like to know what you know about the preacher around here.
Not a lot. He. Well, I heard his sermon this morning, and then he seemed to stop abruptly. After that, I didn't really get to speak to him. I was gonna chat with him later. He seemed quite new here, and his message was very different to some of the messages that we had heard elsewhere.
New, you say?
Yeah.
So how long has he been in town?
Wow, that's hard to tell. Not being from around here myself, I don't know. Maybe a couple of days, couple of weeks. I've been here, and he kind of thinks for a moment. About 3 or so days.
Yeah, thank you. That's good to know. No, go on then, sir. Just what's in the news? What's the word?
Well, Well, it's not so much what's in the news as what's. Oh, he kind of looks at you. It's not so much at what's in the news, but it's what's said without being said.
Hey, what? Tell us what's not in the news.
So, what he kind of shrugs and sort of says he doesn't know much at the moment. But what he does tell you is that one of the things that he does for people who are open to investigating the strange and unusual across the territories, he will, when he hears of rumours or gets first-hand accounts and experiences of things that are happening that may require delicate touch outside of the law, he uses certain phraseology and certain headliners in his stories. And so he said that whilst the story may read like an average everyday story, man gone missing, cattle disappearing, he said, if I use these, and he gives you a bunch of phrases. He said, if you see these phrases in the stories, then you be assured that there is something more unusual and perhaps even supernatural to the story, much like the events that you witnessed today, he says.
The doctor will sit up in his seat and say, "Sir, you had my attention. Now you have my full curiosity."
Well, I'm an individual that likes to let my small network of interested parties understand the events that are truly happening, that I truly believe are happening here in the Wild West. You've heard of the... how do I put this? You've heard of the revelations, yes, gentlemen?
Not particularly.
Can't say that I have.
He looks at the Padre.
Are we talking about God's revelations?
We are indeed, sir.
Or a folk group, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
A Midwest blues band. That
I
plays
remember the first hit, but not the second.
Well, you know, he says, you know how the Revelations talk of the four horsemen of the apocalypse?
Indeed, I do.
I believe that they are real and are here in the West, stirring things up, creating literal hell on earth.
I can see how you think that with what's going on at the moment.
Yes. And so I am trying to provide leads and help to those who would seek out to thwart such riders' ambitions. And I'm hoping, gentlemen, that I have taken the measure of you and believe that you are just such kind of folk that can operate here in Deadwood and the Dakota territories.
Well, I, for one, like my fellow doctor here, you've got my interest piqued. And anything that pokes Satan in the eye, I'm all for. I can't speak for my other friends, but
I want to know more.
Well, as I said, I've not really got any leads other than this one that we've executed on today.
So what
But-
brought you to Deadwood then?
Well, just this very thing. I happen to have heard that there was a number of unexplained deaths amongst both the natives and the Americans, all linked perhaps to Custer's recent defeat at the hands of the Sioux Indians. And I felt it was worth coming up here to investigate. I'm glad I did. I have a great story from today, and I'm hoping my investigations will uncover some additional interesting, newsworthy snippets that I can share with the Epitaph's audience.
Are you
Yes, thank you.
not telling us everything?
No, I'm telling you everything.
I'm intrigued by the Colonel Custer reference.
Okay, so it's pretty well known that in recent history, I want to say, in the last 2 or 3 years, probably even less than that, was the Battle of the 10,000 Arrows, in which Custer, attacked the Sioux Indians in the Dakota Territories and got an absolute spanking. Now, bear in mind, in real world, Custer dies, doesn't he, when he fights the Indians? Because it was Custer's last stand.
I think he'd be dead.
Little
What
big
year?
horn.
What year is this?
Say again?
What year are we in?
1880.
Yeah, he's already dead.
Yeah. It's about 78, was it?
I can't remember. I can't remember what it was.
So you're saying Custer's a zombie? Okay.
No, he isn't a zombie. He actually survives the battle,
Ah.
but he gets absolutely annihilated. And that's kind of why he's here now, because he has marched into Dakota Territory to try and make life very, very difficult for the Sioux Indians, which is why it's a little bit tense. Now, if you remember recently, there was in the Blackhills south of Deadwood, about 2 weeks ago from now, from 2 weeks previous, so earlier in September, mid-August, about a dozen miners were killed, allegedly by a band of Sioux Indians. They were scalped, they were massacred, mutilated, making identification very, very difficult. The rumors that exist, and this is in the epitaph, right? The rumors that exist suggested that the Sioux Indians swept in, killed the miners, 11 of them working the claim, after a clear violation of Deadwood Creek Treaty. Other sources claim the Deadwood Miners Association is not without culpability in the incident, although attempts by the reporter to find out more were strongly rebuffed. But it was this reason the president hopeful James Garfield has used this slaughter in recent days as a source of provocative rhetoric. He said at a recent speech, with the ceasefire all but unravelled, I ask you again, what has my rival done to preserve the lives of the Union citizens? For there are citizens of the Union in Deadwood, my friends, despite my august competitors' claim to the contrary. Yes, there are citizens of the Union in the middle of the so-called Sioux nations, besieged by bloodthirsty savages. 12 of them were killed only days ago, and President Grant continues to make excuses. He continues to hold the ill-used Lieutenant Colonel Custer at arm's length. Meanwhile, Sitting Bull holds our people hostage. He holds out the riches of the Blackhills like a shiny lure, all because we are too timid to ask. The timidity shall end when I am elected president. And ultimately, this triggers Custer to march down to Deadwood. And that's kind of where we are at this point, with Custer's army encamped on the plains around Deadwood, and the beginnings of a rather tense period of time here between the Sioux Nation and Custer. And the other thing to note as well, in this alternative US history, the Civil War didn't quite finish. The Confederates weren't beaten. And so you have both the Union and the Confederate, both have a president, both own different parts of the US territories.
I mean, who's to say that these 12 miners killed isn't another setup?
Most likely is.
And while you say this, and that's kind of what Lacey says. He says, "Well, that's why I'm here, gentlemen, investigate, whether to find out whether this is truly a setup or whether there is
Band of Indians out
misunderstanding.
there. Yeah.
Or something else.
It just it just seems, Mr. Lacey, that it smackers of the sameness, even though there's only 2 miners killed this time, but in the same way, scalped, mutilated.
Yes, indeed.
It's like it's almost like somebody's trying to get a big hammer to say, "Look, Indians did this."
Yes, I agree, and that is why we need to investigate, or I'm investigating, and hopefully I can bring you in if I find anything of a more challenging nature for me to deal with.
Interesting to know if that preacher was anywhere near the last massacre. Because we
He
need to
kind of
know
looks
about
at
this
you.
one.
Why, sir, that's a very interesting supposition. We should definitely look into this preacher.
Well, I'm planning to go to one of his sermons, I think.
You mentioned the coming of Revelation.
Yeah,
Didn't
it did, yes.
our Indian friend that we met, the stagecoach, mention not about Revelation, but some prophecy they had about end of days?
Yeah, it was the Raven
Ghost
song, was
Dance.
it? Ghost Dance, yes.
Is there any relation between their notion of ghost dance and the Christian version of Revelation?
So again, I'd take my headset off if that was
Is there
that.
any sort of link or a notion of similarity between the Christian version of Revelation and the Indian version of ghost dance?
That's an interesting question, Doctor. Is it?
Dr. Newton?
Well, these ghost dancers that I'm hearing about, some kind of new age medicine society, gaining strength very much among the native tribes, both here and further afield. The Lakotas, the Paiutes, the Sioux, all claim to have some kind of membership or ownership of this so-called ghost dance. Whether it's related to the events of Revelations, I haven't had a chance to look into. I do know though that it's crossing all borders. Some people are concerned that this widespread alliance of the Indians will make it very difficult both for the Union or the Confederacy to lay hold and claim disputed territories. Maybe these so-called massacres are merely attempts by the powers that be to throw off any kind of sympathy for the displaced Indians and their plight. Whether that is the case, I really cannot tell.
Will make land grabbing easier.
Indeed, isn't that what it's always about?
It doesn't seem to have bothered the US government in the past.
No? And then there is this rumor of the thing called the Reckoning. So the other thing that you'll know recently, within the last couple, I want to say the last year or so, there was a big earthquake that fractured Los Angeles and San Francisco and has basically turned them into a big maze of flooded canyons. And that's all kind of linked to this concept of the reckoning. Snippets that might help you. So yeah. You know that based on what what Wavoka told you, the current that Raven is linked somehow to war.
And that's with Ravenites, isn't it? That don't use any modern technology.
And that's the Ravenites, yeah, the Ravenites. Now, it's not necessarily the Ravenites that don't use modern technology. Actually, the Ravenites do use modern technology. It's the ghost dancers and those who
That's right,
have
sorry.
Yeah,
worn the oath of the old ways. Most of the ghost dancers are those kind of people. So actually, if you see anybody that doesn't use modern technology, it's more likely to be a ghost dancer or just a general Indian than it is somebody who is directly related to the Ravenites. After a while, starts to get a little bit gets a little bit more quieter, slurring his words, and in the end, Lacey kind of takes his leave of you and heads off to his room. And by now, we're looking at almost 11 o'clock at night.
What do you guys think of that?
Sure is interesting, and if it's something that we should stop, if it's going to start a war, I think it's something we should follow up. But I definitely want to look at this preacher, because a man of God should not be doing what we think he's doing.
Yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't
that's
look
so suspicious.
Well, forgive me, Reverend, but a man of whose God?
Well, that's very true. And definitely something to ponder. I've seen brethren in the past be full of their own self-righteousness, that they believe that they know who should be saved and who should be damned.
I wonder where he preaches from. I'll have to look him up.
Well, when we were leaving town, he was on his soapbox, wasn't he?
He was on his soapbox, yes.
But yeah, it would be nice to actually find if there's a church that he preaches at.
Looking on the map, it's bottom of the town.
Just giving you a little bit more understanding around. I've lost it now. Around Custer. So Custer fought Sitting Bull and the Sioux Indians at the Battle of Little Big Horn,
1876.
1876. He survived and escaped, but was court-martialed and deranked. So he went from, I think, General Custer to Lieutenant General Custer, or just Lieutenant Custer. And since then, he has had a rather nasty hard-on for hurting the Sioux wherever he can. He's a very vengeful man with a vendetta to get back at the Sioux Nation for the spanking that he got. But as a result of that, the Union in general now treat the Indians with slightly more respect than they did, because obviously they got absolutely wiped out.
Mm.
So, rest of the evening, what's the plan?
What day is it?
I've got to go to bed.
It's Friday. It's Friday the 6th of September, 1880.
This time of night, is anywhere open or?
Oh God, yeah. All the salons are open. It's quiet in the Grand Central Hotel, but Nye Opera House, Nuttall and Mann's, Number 10 Salon, the Gem Theatre, Mint Gambling Salon, all of those kind of places are open for everything from gambling to whoring.
I'm going to bed.
William goes to bed.
Oh, fucked.
Yeah, I won't be too late. I'm just gonna sort of like have a quiet evening, go and check on the horses, and then I'll probably be retiring at about 10ish, something like that, 11ish. Because we
Okay.
came in at 9, didn't we? So I'm assuming it's about 11 midnight now.
It is. It's just about 11 o'clock now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go and check on the horse, and I'll put myself to bed.
Okay. You check on the horses.
Yeah, and I can't see anywhere that I'll be going tonight. 'Cause I don't think I'll be doing any whoring or gambling.
Why, Father? Why, Padre? Why the devil wouldn't you be?
Well,
Because all the kids are in bed.
that's what they've done now. Oh, dear. Yeah.
And they'll sneak down in the night just to check the horses.
Okay, so you all settle down, head to bed. Following day, you kind of gather sort of about 9 o'clock in the morning, quiet sort of day. As you kind of sat down in the restaurant, enjoying a leisurely but rather nice breakfast, Charlie Bull kind of wanders in, spots you, nods, and then kind of heads over to you all.
Offer him some breakfast.
He immediately pulls up a chair and kind of sits down and looks around and sort of
Morning, Charlie.
morning.
I hope you're happy with the outcome.
Well, I am definitely happy with the outcome. Seems like you fellas had a interesting day yesterday.
That's one way of putting it.
But more importantly, it tells me a little bit of your character, that I think I can trust you a little bit more. So I have a somewhat delicate matter that I'd like to discuss with you. An old friend of mine, a white fella, miner of sorts, sometimes lucky, sometimes not so lucky.
Once you say minor, I'll perk up.
Not that kind.
By the name of Carmichael, small claim about 10 or so miles, sort of roughly southwest of here, into the Blackhills. Usually comes into town once a week, sells what he finds. Occasionally he gets a bit of gold, a bit of silver. As you can imagine, doesn't quite fetch the kind of money that it once did. And then he hits on a small seam of ghost rock and spends it whoring and gambling. But I digress. He's known to provide me with some tidbits of information that he comes across amongst the other miners and their claims out of the south there. I haven't seen him in about 10 days. Not too unusual, though this time of the year he's typically back and forth every sort of 7-ish days. I would have expected to see him yesterday at the latest, but I haven't. Anyway, just 2 days ago, deep snows came by my offices, and he passed me this, and he kind of slides a piece of paper across the table.
I'll reach out.
I thought I'd put this in the thing. It says it's in sort of a slightly shaky, scrawly script, but definitely handwritten. It's not a telegram, and it says, "Send someone trustworthy. Heard some things about LH. We're right to be suspicious. Best spoken in person as the ravens are circulating. CM."
Was that Elledge?
LH.
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 Who's LH?
Well, LH is an interesting fella. Scientist, or so he claims. Name of Dr. Havisham, Lucian Havisham. Small warehouse out on the edge of town. Interestingly, hasn't been seen in town for a good 3 or 4 weeks now.
Dr. Havisham's
Kind of-
here.
Yes, well, he was here. Do you know him, sir?
Why, yes, he was my mentor back east. I didn't know he'd moved out this way. I knew he'd headed this way, but I didn't know he ended up in Deadwood.
Oh, well, that's very fortuitous. Yes, he has. But it seems like he's not stayed. It seems like Carmichael has got something, or has heard something about LH and about the Doctor, and we were never sure about his loyalties, his allegiances, and more, to be more candid, about his proclivities of work and the kind of things that he was up to, and so had
An inquisitive and curious mind. I'm sure he was pursuing some form of enlightenment of his own.
Very possibly. But like I said, it appears that about 10 or so, 10, 12 days ago, he just disappeared. No longer seen in any of the theatres or any of the grocery stores. I hadn't even seen him to call morning to him in a few days.
And where had he set up?
Just up to the back here, and he kind of gives you some directions, basically to here.
Well, I shall stand up, put my hat on my unkempt head, and set off.
Charlie kind of looks at the group as the doctor, as your Dr. Newton kind of stands up, and without nary a good day, just kind of walks out the room. Does he do that often?
More often than not.
He slept through a gun. He slept through a gunfight, for goodness' sake.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, according to this letter, then you say the Ravenites are interested in this area.
He kind of looks at you and kind of puts his finger to his mouth. Quiet, Padre.
Oh, sorry.
Let's not announce that name too loud around these parts. There are definitely some in town, I believe, who are fond of the Ravens.
Understood. My apologies.
Well, if it's all of, if I can perhaps beg of your assistance, maybe to head out to Carmichael's claim, check on him, make sure he's okay, and find out what he knows about the Doctor, what his suspicions might be.
Yeah, we can do that. Do we need to tell him anything so that he knows that we come on behalf of you?
Oh, just give him the note.
That would do it.
A good day, gentlemen. And he kind of stands up and puts his bowler hat on, doffs it to you, and kind of walks up. You notice at no point did he touch anything at the table.
Oh.
Although, you notice a couple of times his hand strayed towards the bacon.
Understandable.
Okay. Good doctor. You stroll out of the Grand Central, down the road past Stebbins and Postbank. You take a right at that point, head up along through past Broadway Street and to a rather large but slightly dishevelled looking sort of cross between a warehouse and maybe an accommodation. It's hard to tell. There is a set of large double doors at one end and a single door at the sort of the front facing Broadway Street. Whatever windows exist, they're all shuttered. In fact, not only are they shuttered, but the ones down the side near the sort of the double doors are actually nailed too.
Nailed.
Hmm.
Okay.
Nailed.
So I'll approach the double doors at the side.
Yeah.
Listen carefully and also sniff the air.
Give me notice rolls. Or a notice roll.
Mm.
And as I announced at my D&D game last week, I said, can everybody give me a notice roll? And they all looked at me like, what? What system?
No.
There is no sound coming from within. It is very quiet. Not something you would expect. You know, you would either expect the sound of maybe some bubbling, if there was chemicals or something being distilled in there, or the smell of something acidic or acidic or acrid or whatever. It's nothing. It's just like it's been left.
Are the
to
double
stand.
doors nailed shut, or are
The
they
double
closed?
doors do not appear to be nailed shut. They appear to be closed. There is no lock on them, but they don't give when you try and pull them open.
Is there a mechanism to operate, or do they appear to have been barred from the inside?
You suspect they are. The way the doors kind of have resistance in the middle, you suspect there is a bar across the back.
That's an outfront man. He's got dynamite, remember?
Mm. um, do I suspect that the bar might be dislodged with a reasonable amount of energy applied to it?
Oh no.
As I said, dynamite.
It is highly possible with a reasonable amount of energy that you could alter the equilibrium of said bar to be more conducive to opening. Yes.
I may apply a repulsion field to said bar and attempt to move it rapidly in the opposite direction from its current location, like vertically and backwards.
Okay. Using.
Havoc,
Okay.
which I think is a weird science roll, isn't it?
It will be a weird science roll. Yes. Look at that. Okay. You indeed apply.
Let me deduct some power points.
And do you use this through a
Not the
gadget?
quietest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's not the quietest thing. Yeah, so the rest of you give me notice rolls. Tom. Oh, look at Colt is already on his way. Nah, William's too busy eating the bacon. Okay, all but Billy notice, or you kind of there is a slight vibration in the table, and you notice like a small ripple out of your like coffee mugs, and you then hear this distant kind of thump. Doesn't sound like
wood.
doesn't sound like dynamite, and then you kind of hear a faint crack, and then there's several sort of yells from the street.
Is it a T-Rex?
It is not a T-Rex.
Yeah. Oh. I'll head out to find out
Yeah.
what the hell it is, because it's.
I'm going to go
something I've come across.
follow where the doctor went to.
I'm going to grab some bacon as I go
Okay.
past as well.
Okay, you
Are
grab some
there people
bacon.
on the street behind me?
There will be some people out on Broadway Street. Yeah,
I
not
will
some.
turn to them with an element of persuasion and say, "Nothing to see here. One of the good doctor's experiments appear to have gone awry."
Okay, give me a roll. You wish to Benny that.
Yeah, well, go on. It's,
Lovely. Okay. Several people, like a lady in a rather nice petticoat dress, kind of stops with a little hat, and man on the arm of a man, and they kind of stop and they look and they nod. Oh yes, the good doctor. Yes, no problem. No, we're not unused to hearing his strange noises at all times of the day. Well, I hope the doctor is good and well and has not hurt himself. Good day to you, sir.
oh, my hat badly.
And he tips his hat, and she kind of gives you a little bit of a curtsy, and they kind of hurry off down the road towards the bank. At this point, you see the rest of your posse kind of trundling and kind of walking rather quickly, but hurriedly walking without drawing too much attention to them, heading up the road in your general direction. Turning back to look at the door, you notice that one of the doors is slightly askew, and there is definitely daylight you can get daylight through that door.
I will stick my head through, have a peer around, and if it's all clear, I will squeeze in.
1 second. Don't you chips? Looking inside, it's definitely segregated. This was probably some kind of a barn or something similar, maybe a warehouse. This side, or maybe even 2/3 of this building, is just full of kind of science paraphernalia. It's kind of your perfect place to be. Vases, various jars. Jars that are empty, jars that have got various powders and other accoutrements in them. There's a notice board with a number of bits of paper kind of tacked to it. A large space in front of the double doors, possibly large enough for a wagon or something similar. Maybe even one of those sort of newfangled steam-driven, ghost rock-driven motor vehicles that are kind of making the rounds in various places. But whatever was there now is kind of long gone. But it is empty. There is an inner door that leads sort of back towards the front of the place that is also currently closed.
So I will make a sweep of the kind of, I suppose, laboratory or workshop area and see if the good doctor has left any notes unattended or sort of any indication of what he was working on.
Okay. Give me a notice roll. At this point, the rest of the group arrive at the now slightly open door, and you kind of look inside to see Dr. Newton kind of rummaging around, picking up sheets of paper, moving jars, and kind of looking around this inside place. You also notice that on the floor appears to be half of a fairly stout oak beam that looks like it's been splintered almost perfectly down the middle. So, glancing around, you immediately discount the stuff on the board. It seems old. There's a lot of crossing out and no scribbled on it here and there. A couple of bits of it are sort of epitaph articles, mostly about Ghost Rock. Definitely seems that the good doctor was interested in Ghost Rock, the finding of Ghost Rock, and the way that you can use Ghost Rock. There are a number of vials and jars still have bits of powdered Ghost Rock, raw Ghost Rock in them. A little bit, not a huge amount. There's also vials of acid and other stuff. as you kind of start to rummage around amongst some of the stuff on various benches, that you uncover sort of hidden under a piece of sort of wood. You hid a number of bits of paper with some interesting diagrams and other annotation on them. And this are the key elements. Putting the diagrams and things together, it seems that Dr. Havisham was working on something that he'd called the nullification ring. Best you can tell, it is indeed some kind of disc, and he kind of talks about being able to scale it up and down depending on its usage. But somehow using this disc, which seems to have a number of, on the sketch that you see, some strange symbols that you're not quite familiar with, along with some advanced engineering capabilities sort of built into this, he's claiming that it can somehow counteract the supernatural effect of ghost rock and other rituals. And one of the notes, the nullification ring shows promise. Initial tests indicate it can disrupt localized supernatural phenomena. With further refinements, it could serve as a significant tool against the Reckoner's influence. Must proceed cautiously. Any miscalculation could be catastrophic.
It just sounds like dealing with ghost rock. Okay, I'll tuck the papers away for further study. The fact that he mentions the Reckoners and their ability to use supernatural, what implies the use of supernatural phenomena,
Yeah.
Is something that I will definitely mention to the Padre.
Can we try and start again? Phenomena. Phenomena.
So, how many other ways in and out of this place are there?
There's literally just the double doors that you've come in. There is an inner door, a single inner door with sort of frosted glass, which actually now has a crack in it, and the main door at the front,
Right.
with a single shuttered window by the side of the main door, and then a single shuttered window, which, when you look at it from the inside the workshop area, that single shuttered window is more likely, or definitely is, whatever is the other side of that door.
Just wondering how he got out if it was bad from the inside, but there's another door, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing else in the workshop area, then I'll go for the door into the main. I'm assuming it's a dwelling, or
Yeah, I mean, if you want to head inside, it's not locked.
yeah, I'll open the door and call out.
Yeah, so on the inside, as you call out, so the inside, the next room on is kind of divided into two levels. It would appear the ground level as you come in through the door. Then there is a small ladder that leads up into like a loft space. Inside the ground floor is a curtain partition. Which, when you kind of look behind, seems to be a sleeping area, a small chest with a bowl on it, and a big jug for water. It seems to be kind of a sleeping, kind of cleaning area. This side, where the door would allow you to go outside, has a small kitchen area with a small, like, little fireplace, a couple of plain, straightforward earthenware plates, some tarnished knife and fork. What you notice, though, about this is the table is set for one. You look at the pan, and it seems that the pan itself had at some point been left to boil dry, and is all blackened and from like the heat of the fire. The fire is gone out, obviously long gone out. There are bits of clothes scattered around. Kind of looks like he might have left in a maybe a hurry. His usual bag of accoutrements that he would carry with him that you're so familiar with, Dr. Newton, is not present.
So whatever he did, he made sure he took that with him. Which normally would suggest he's found something of interest and rushed off.
No sign of a scuffle or anything.
Give me a notice check.
But not so much of a rush that he didn't lock up.
We did lock up.
Don't hear that.
Because the door, the gates were locked from the inside, and the other door was locked, so I didn't bother. I mean, this door was hanging open when I got here.
Indeed, it was.
Oh, Ben. Let's try again. Yeah, clicking on Benny's not doing anything. Right,
Apologies, I just need to do something really quickly. Just been asked, I've been tasked. I'll be a couple of minutes. Sorry.
No, it's much better. Definitely, I mean, that's a raise as well. So definitely no sign of a struggle in here. As best you can make out, he left in a hurry. To William's point, he didn't leave in such a hurry that he failed to lock up. So on that basis, you don't get the sense that he was leaving under any kind of duress. It may just be that he's a very messy man, and from his day-to-day living standards, just leaving things out, the kind of person that gets distracted from something or distracted by something so much that he focuses on that, basically, autistic, focuses on that at the expense of everything around him. So nothing jumps out as to you as being worrying.
okay.
On the basis that Otis has disappeared for 5 minutes, let's take a quick 10-minute break.
Okay.
And come back.
Okay.
I need to sit down and relax it. Okay, gentlemen. Let us return to Deadwood. So yeah, you get the sense that the doctor hasn't left in any kind of hurry, but he did leave without giving too much thought to what was happening in his kind of living area at that point. Definitely no sign of leaving under duress.
That note hinted that Carmichael knew something about what had happened to Lucian. Is that right?
It does suggest that, yes.
Sounds like we need to go and meet Carmichael.
Indeed.
We were given directions, I assume, to where he is.
You can definitely get directions to where he is, yes.
Is it wise maybe we pick up some warm clothing on for the journey?
Extra blankets, maybe?
Apparently, I've got one. I've got a winter coat and everything. I kind of put a bit of everything.
Probably not a bad idea.
No, I need to get something then.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm missing is a blanket to put around my head when I'm going through the snow.
Winter coat, backpack,
Nice
bedroll.
big winter coat.
I love the fact that there's a town in South Dakota called Lead.
Oh no, they mind for.
Copper.
Yeah.
Ghost Rock. Okay. So, are you going to get yourself some supplies and other bits and pieces for your journey?
Sounds like it.
Again, based on what Charlie said, it's only about 10 miles southwest, but that is putting you into the heart of the Blackhills. And whilst at this kind of level where you are, it's unlikely that there would be snow on the ground. Further up in the hills and further up in the heights, there could be snow even this early in September.
Yeah, definitely gonna get some gloves and a blanket.
Okay.
It's
You spend the best part of an hour or so getting a few supplies together. Some warmer weather clothing. Sorry, some colder weather clothing. Blankets. A few, some hardtack. Some fresh food. Stocking up on bullets and ammunition. Getting the horses sorted, feed for the horses. You're not quite sure. You anticipate you will most likely have to spend at least one night in the hills, depending on what Carmichael tells you. But whether that's out in the open or in a cabin, you have no clue. So you prepare accordingly.
I'm gonna get some tinder as well.
Okay. All right. We will assume for this that you have the basic supplies that you need to succeed Indeed. What we will do is, if you're trying to make any kind of survival roll, I'll let you take a +2 to your survival to determine whether you have the thing and it's useful for the situation that you're in. All right. So you head out of Deadwood and travel approximately sort of 10 miles or so southeast. I'm going to put you to somewhere like this, just to the south of the D in Deadwood. By this point, the journey takes several hours. It's not so much the distance that you're traveling, although you are going slow. There's no real way for you to gallop horses as you kind of get up into the Blackhills proper. You kind of start finding yourselves in valleys and then kind of climbing up out of valleys and up sides of hills. And each time you do that, you're getting slightly higher and higher. You're not really traveling on any well-worn tracks. Here and there, you do come across some kind of tracks, maybe some mine tracks, or sort of general paths that miners would take. As you get sort of about 4 or 5 miles, 3 or 4 miles outside of Deadwood, you start to spot in various valleys sort of plumes of smoke, and you can see sort of shacks crudely put together, kind of dotting various parts of the valleys and the hills. Miners working their claims. What you do know is they are permitted to stay here for certain times of the year, but then at a certain point, as as autumn begins to transition towards winter, they are expected to leave the hills and then kind of live in Deadwood, which is why you have all the tents and things for the itinerant workers. But the day wends on. You hear the odd howl of wolves. You see the odd rabbit, a couple of foxes, weasels, badgers, stoats. But the farther up you go, the more the sparser the kind of the animal wildlife is. You see the odd deer. And then gradually, as you start to climb, following the rough directions that Charlie has kind of drawn on a bit of a sketchy map, the air begins to turn. It begins to get colder, and you start to feel the chill. Here and there in sort of the shade of a valley, there is a definite frost and a light dusting of snow. It's late on in the day, probably getting to a point where you're starting to think about, will I actually reach this place before nightfall? If not, we need to start thinking about somewhere to stay. Sort of as you're kind of now below a couple of the peaks, it is actually starting to feel like it's dark in the valley. Can all of you make notice rolls, please? You all hear it at the same time. The distinct, quick double boom of a double-barreled shotgun, and it reverberates around the valley, coming from somewhere ahead through a set of trees.
Quicken up the pace.
I'm going to get out my rifle scope and have a quick look through it and see if I can see any movement.
Ahead of you, you notice that there is a small dusting of snow or ice or frost on the ground and amongst the trees. It's quite dark, but you do think through the scope that you can just see in the distance what appears to be a spiral of smoke winding up into the now darkening sky.
Campfire.
Okay, yeah, I'll point it out. Looks like the direction the gunshot came from. Right on.
Riding on, you begin to. Your horses start to feel a little bit skittish. Can everybody give me ride rolls, please?
You've got to say that. You know, nobody apart from Sorrow's got ride.
I need to learn ride.
You've all got you have all got a wild dice.
I've got ride at D4. No,
Mm.
no.
Oh, okay. So, Tom, Blake, Billy. Oh, Colt is throwing bennies left, right, and centre, trying to keep his horse under control. He's still going.
And he still failed. Oh, so close.
Colt has just blown through all of his bennies trying to keep his horse under control.
Push.
Oh, wrong button.
Oh.
Donkey's tied to the back of my horse.
All right. Colt, you're thrown from your horse as it kind of comes round a corner. Blake, you are absolutely... No, that's Billy. Billy's fine. Blake's fine. Was Tom okay? Tom's fine. Okay, and the doctor, your horse decides all of a sudden to dig his front hooves in and almost throws you over, kind of drops his head. And you get the sense that the horse is not going anywhere at all.
Either that or it's a plastic bag.
And so we find yourselves just on the edge of what is now a more prominent track. Amongst this map has a lot of snow on it. The snow is nowhere near that big, by the way.
Is it very, very dark
Very
on this
dark.
map?
But it is dark, yes.
It's very, very
Very
dark.
dark.
Yeah, that's because I need to do that, and I need to do that. No,
Well, Colt
that.
can't see anything because his head's under the snow, but
I resemble that remark.
there we go. I can see things now.
Okay, yeah. Normally, I would normally just block out the buildings, but I can't be bothered. So as you kind of, those of you on horseback, you watch as Colt goes charging past you with his horse whinnying, and all of a sudden his horse kind of skids to a halt, and a Colt is just dumped ceremoniously onto the floor. No real hurt, no real damage, just maybe a little bit of a shaken pride. As he kind of stands up and starts to dust himself off, glancing around, you notice that there is a small shack, slightly dishevelled, with several kind of broken crates or stacked crates sort of in front of it, just peeking through the trees to your right. Ahead of you, you can see what appears to be a shack in front of you. And an old figure, an old man, is kind of stood with a shotgun, and he's kind of pointing it over in this direction.
Anyone else think he looks like Santa? This looks like a
Chris Kringle.
Christmas advent calendar with Santa on the top.
Hold on.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's not Santa.
And that
Is that
is
one of
AI.
your, I was going to say, is that one of your chat GPT things? whatever.
Yes.
It's Nero.
It's Chris Christopherson if he's still alive.
It is absolutely Chris Christopherson.
It isn't, but there is an actor that looks very much very like that, extremely like that. I can't remember his name.
All I did was ask for a grizzled miner with weathered skin from a long time. A grizzled old miner, white hair, white beard, tatty clothes, and that's what ChatGPT created for me.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's taking away so many jobs.
And even the eyes are better this time.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed it's not showing the hands though, because that's where the other thing usually goes wrong.
He's got 27 knives in his hands.
Yeah. Or a hand that's at 90 degrees from his wrist.
Yeah.
D&D show me a ranger with a longbow and he's holding it. He's holding it at the end like that or something daft like that. It's like, oh dear God. Or it's sticking out of his shoulder.
So there you go.
I'm gonna shout forward. Hey there, Carmichael. What you shooting at?
Pigeons! And at that point, you notice coming out from the trees an Indian. We're going to go to initiative, and then I'm going to describe the Indian to you.
Okay, so that's kind of answered the question as to whether they're friendly or not. Okay. They don't look like Indians.
So no. Or they may be, but
They are
Yeah.
dressed. They are very much dressed as Indians.
That's Sam the innkeeper.
Question: where's the initiative?
The crossed swords at the top, and I need to fix everybody's freaking.
if you right click on your token, you where the swords and the shield is, click that, and then you'll appear on the tracker and click the cards.
Got it. There we go.
To update everybody's token again. Give me a second. I will sort this out one day.
Usually change it. Oh yeah, it's okay down there. It's just up there. Right.
I think everybody's name is correct now. Oh no.
There we go.
So, lumbering out of the woods, bow in hand, tomahawk side, wearing the classic moccasins and doe skin and deer skin outfit of an Indian, comes a figure that looks not quite Indian.
It's like an Iron Maiden cover.
Holy shit.
And again, that ChatGPT.
Fantastic.
Isn't that an awesome looking picture?
Yeah.
It is indeed rather good.
It's got a hell of a lot better.
It has, yeah. So you see these figures, from a distance, clearly dressed to look like Indians, and and to create that that sense. But as you know, Cole, you're closest. You realise that these are definitely not Indians. These are
Ex-Indians.
else. They are, yes. And almost immediately. So 1, 2, 3. So one appears here. Targets the good doctor. Oh, okay. The map's token's a bit wrong. It should be 2. So each of the squares is 2 yards. I've just readjusted that. Okay. So Lucy's.
Cole's concerned and dead, can't he?
Only if you shoot me in the heart.
Lucy's a bow. Ooh, shit. Ow. That's a roll with a raise.
Who's died? That many dice. Somebody's got to have died from that.
Everybody.
You watch as an arrow slams into the figure that you believe must be. So I'm going to give him. Two of 2 bennies. 1 of 2 bennies. You watch as an arrow slams into the figure on the porch, and he kind of grunts, turning shakily with his shotgun. Oh, I meant to do that, didn't I? Okay, so that's that. Okay. Going to spend a Benny to remove shaken. He then will target this guy and shoot with his shotgun. Oh, beautiful. Oh, nice. He hits with a raise. Okay. You watch as by response, he kind of raises his shotgun and he shoots. And Colt, you'll just about see a figure get propelled backwards and hit the dirt with a grunt. Blake, you're up.
Sounds like he's got this.
Yeah, let's just leave him to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bear with me. Sorry, I'm just
That's the
looking.
world's shittest posse.
Checking something. One sec.
Have we still got bags of salt?
What's the
Yeah.
what's the pace of a horse?
Oh, it's a lot.
Can't see on the descriptor. What I want to do, is there? Oh, there's a grid on it. So let me zoom it. Let me zoom in a bit.
I can give you the size of a sombrero. Yeah, there's no So it's technically it's a. I would just. How far do you normally move?
12 pace on a horse.
So 12 pace on a horse, so 6 squares versus the 3 squares that you'll move on a. Oh no, just do 12 squares. It's fine. And then just move your normal pace in squares for those of you who are moving.
What I want to do is that front one. I want to pull out my lariat and lasso him as I'm going past on a half.
Okay. Sounds freaking interesting.
So I'm going to set my horse off going, but then I don't know how we're going to do this because I want to lasso him as I'm going past.
Okay. Well, give me a ride roll. Your horse isn't particularly interested in getting close to these things.
Neither am I. But right, bear with it. One sec.
There's loads of room on the floor with me.
I'll bend it up.
That's exactly what I said.
3 times.
Yeah.
Bending that as well.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Okay. Finally, you coax your horse forward so you can move him forwards. And then what I would say is let's do an athletics.
I think it's fighting for a lariat.
Oh, is it fighting? Go
Weapon,
for fighting. Yeah. Okay, well, that will hit. What is it you're using?
Using a lariat. Actually, I should have rolled the lariat. Shouldn't have. Bear with me.
Yeah, roll the lariat.
I'll take the hit, but
Is that like a poet?
That's Laureate.
Ah.
right. So
Okay.
give me the 5, but
All right. So move your horse to where you want to engage with the lariat.
I think that's it. Because I think it's got a reach of 2. It's got a reach of 2, so I can go to there, and that's within 2, and they get -1 to parry.
Okay.
And it says, used to initiate a test using the wielder's fighting skill. The target is entangled with a success, bound on a ray, so it's entangled.
Yes.
But
not vulnerable. Oh
no.
It,
So it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not bound. It's just entangled.
it's entangled and vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So if I've got it entangled, can I then ride off with it?
How far have you ridden?
I've ridden from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5.
You can take him however far you want to go.
Tie him off with your saddle horn.
Yeah, I want to. We've got 2 there, 1 over there. I want to take him back this way. I'm trying to find. Trying to find tree stumps and stuff like that to drag him through, basically.
Okay.
So
you can assume that there are some around the edges of the path.
I'm going to drag him that way.
You evil man.
Yep, pretty much.
So he's going to stay within 2 of you. So you bring him right past Cole. Okay. Sounds cool to me.
I figured I may as well start using the cowboy aspects of the cowboy.
Yeah. So it doesn't do damage. So, I wonder.
It doesn't do damage, but I don't know whether the actual action of being dragged will. So
There's more behind us.
I think as soon as it hits a log, you may do, or a tree trunk or something like that. But
You know when you turn around, you can see a skeleton sat on the back of your horse because it's climbed its way up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
well, I'm going to pull the pistol out or the knife.
Yeah.
There's a shitload of them.
There's a lot.
They're
Oh, is it
coming out of
more?
the goddamn
Fantastic.
walls.
Okay, so at this moment in time, I'm not going to rule it as taking any damage. I will apply some damage at the start of your next turn.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going to do an Indiana Jones and start pulling yourself up along the rope to get to you.
This is looking less like Deadlands and more like Solasta.
No, it's not. You hear the sound of another bow, and you watch as an arrow coming from this direction slams into the sort of the balcony near who you believe to be Carmichael. Dr. Newton, you're up.
Okay. The structure. I'm assuming the structure that's north of us is obscuring the view of whatever's behind it.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah, let me just change something very slightly.
We've got something coming from the southwest, one from the west.
That made the map dark.
Yep.
Yep, completely black. Yep.
That should be better, yeah?
Nope.
No.
No, they're still all there.
Yeah, there's 6 too many Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And we can't see them.
Yep, that's better. Also, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You blocked out the.
Yeah, okay.
All right. What's the range of
You broke up then.
what's the range of a pistol?
12. Should say on the
It'd be on
carry.
your on your gear.
Yeah, I think I've added mine incorrectly. I can't make it out.
You got the cold rainmaker, right?
It's 12, 24, 48.
That's fine. Okay. So I'm gonna select move me. The horse will move, won't it? Up to 6. I'm gonna come to there, and I'm gonna take a pot shot at the entangled Walking Dead thing. Which is a shooting skill, isn't it? There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Which one were you targeting? Sorry,
The
the
one
one being dragged.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so roll your damage with a raise.
Damage with
So
a raise.
hit shooting. When you hit shooting, it should say the second box in should be with raise at the bottom.
Hang on, I'm doing trying to do the damage now, but I might have done. I might shooting skill test succeed. Oh, damage. What's the value of a raise?
Hang on. Let's do it slightly different. Where are you? You're there.
Roll raise. There we go. Roll plus raise.
Yeah, there you go. Roll plus raise. Nice. Look at that. Okay, 6 damage. We'll resolve the damage. Okay. As you squeeze off around, you watch as it kind of hits this thing being dragged by the horse, but it seems to be immaterial in the sense that it's had no real effect. So I'll say to you what I said to the group last week. Every creature has a toughness score, and if your base damage doesn't exceed the toughness, then it has no material effect on the creature's status towards hurt and dead.
Okay.
So you've hit it, but because you didn't exceed the toughness, it doesn't really do anything. Okay, Billy.
Got a feeling as well. We worked out last week that these have got to think about the head as well. I've got a feeling we worked that out.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're doing
Yes.
cold shots to the head, weren't you?
Hmm.
I just got lucky on my rolls.
A cold shot is a full round action, right?
Yes.
Yeah, -4 to hit, +4 damage.
Okay, I'm just gonna squeeze off around at this guy over here.
Okay. Roll your attack.
Nice.
Happy days.
Holy crap. Okay, talk about that. Needing so that is that's 3 raises. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. So roll your damage with a raise. Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
That makes a difference, though.
Nice.
Against the same one.
No, it's the one at the bottom.
No. One down at the tree to the left, the lower one.
This one.
This one.
Yeah, down the bottom. All right, it's asking me if I'm going to take 3 wounds. What the fuck?
Did you
No,
click
you
resolve
don't.
damage?
You don't click the resolve damage because
Yeah,
that's doing it on you.
Yeah, I resolve damage. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm not going to spend a penny. Okay, basically, yeah. So you use you squeeze off a shot with your peacemaker, hitting this creature as it comes out of the shadows, bow armed, pointing in your general direction. You watch with satisfaction as it collapses to the floor. Oh, did you want to move at all, Billy?
No, not at the moment. I'm just going to sort of turn my horse sort of northwest, but I want to concentrate on these guys down the bottom.
Okay, cool. That one comes running at Carmichael with a tomahawk in hand.
It's the boss one you're on.
Okay. This one gets right up in Colt's face. Okay, the one that is being pulled. Roll 2d6 for me. Okay. That would be okay. All right. It's starting to look a bit battered as you're pulling it along, but kind of bouncing it up and down on the ground. Tom, you're up.
Okay, so if Colt's on the floor, I've got no fear of shooting him. Is that right?
Correct.
I would think I was stood up rather than being on the floor right now.
Yeah, you probably would be. Yeah.
Okay, in which case I
You
got
do
a
have
chance
a
of
risk.
hitting you. I
Yeah,
do
you
that.
do. You do have
So,
a risk of hitting him. Yeah.
So I'll shoot the one to the south.
Okay, go for it.
Um,
Oh, very nice. That's a hit. Roll your damage. No raise.
uh,
You hit it. You'll put it in a shaken status. But other than that, it's still standing.
Okay, I'll say where I am because there's two skeletons in between me and the actual way forward. So oh damn, I thought Colt was next.
Colt, Colt, you can see another Indian come out of the darkness and lumber at the old man, tomahawk in hand.
No.
Never what you want to see when the GM rolls damage with a raise.
Do I see him lumber back with a head in his hand?
Tag, you're on our side now.
I never want to see him Benny either.
Oh, I used the wrong thing. Okay, so he bennied, and I think he succeeds with the Benny. Oh, I meant to do that. Bend. Okay, so you watch as this this Indian comes shooting out of the shadows from behind whatever this building is, and basically slashes across Carmichael's midriff, and you watch Carmichael go down with a cry of pain and agony. He is incapacitated.
No.
In the trees to the north, more come kind of moving. They're moving with a purpose, but they are that slow, steady kind of movement.
That relentless
Oh.
gait.
Colt, you're up.
So as I pull up my shotgun, yes, and the Lord will deliver me from every evil attack. And I will unleash both barrels at this thing.
Ooh, point blank range, both barrels. Nasty.
So it's buckshot, isn't it?
It is buckshot, yes.
I've got a hit first, haven't I, stupid boy?
You do have to hit first.
Close that. Oh, look at me all back of the bus.
That's a hit.
Right, it's a hit. Roll your damage.
Oh, it's still a hit. Oh, brilliant.
No.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Roll your damage. Short range. No raise. Nice. Basically, you kind of shove your double barrel shotgun into this thing's stomach and just pull pull the shot, and you watch as it kind of obliterates this creature, sending viscera and bone everywhere. Anything else, Cole?
No, that's me. I don't have. I'll start reloading next turn.
Okay. All right. Blinking out. We've got a blackjack. It's going to roll spirit. Okay. So this one, I'm going to try something. So he's going to make an agility, an athletics roll. Okay. You feel the lasso go limp, Blake, and you kind of look over your shoulder to see the thing that you were pulling is basically taking its tomahawk and sliced through the lasso, and it's gone sliding into the kind of the ground. Dr. Newton, you're up. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. No, I've just applied everything to it by accident. You're muted, Dr. Newton.
So I am. There we go. Right, I'm going to ride my horse to. Sorry, I want to get to there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go with that again.
Ooh.
Does that work? Burst.
So you need to make your weird science roll first.
Yep.
Make it lady.
Okay. Stick a cone template down if I can. How do I rotate these things?
Middle mouse button.
That didn't work. Nope.
I can do it for you if you want.
Yeah, trying to get from there to him.
So you want a cone?
Cone, yeah, it should be cone, should be 9 yards.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Okay. So there, effectively, yeah.
Yeah, if I can obviously
So
rotate, it catches both of them even better.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem. For some reason, the changing of the map has screwed the distance a little bit. So, but that's fine. Yeah, because according to your measurement, you were within distance, right?
Yep. So damage is 2d6.
Ooh.
This is gonna hurt.
We resolve 11 damage.
And that sort of arcs from my wrists like electricity or lightning.
Ooh. Okay. You watch as the doc kind of raises his hand, and suddenly some kind of electricity or some kind of light, electricity basically kind of flashes out from his arm,
Bring my hands together.
and you watch as both of the figures kind of suddenly light up for a brief second, kind of judder and shake, and then collapse to the ground.
He's not a doctor. He's a goddamn emperor.
I was thinking of those buzzer things that you shake hands with and electrocute someone. It's short circuited
exactly
in some way.
Just like that.
Billy, you're up. You paid your PowerPoint cost, yeah?
Yep, yeah, take 2 off.
So both these two to the south are dead then.
Yeah, they're both lying on the floor, dead. The one that was being dragged by Blake seems to have kind of broken free, and is starting to push itself up from the ground.
Shoot him then.
Go for it. That'll hit. No raise. Roll your damage.
That'll do, Piggy. That'll do.
That'll do. Again, you shoot on almost point blank range, and your bullet kind of flies through the creature's head, shattering the skull, and it kind of collapses to the floor, twitching for a brief second or two. Anything else you want to do?
How
Anything
far
else?
over my horse?
12 squares.
How many
Maximum.
yards?
24. Well, yeah, so, yeah, 12 squares is fine. We're a bit messed up on the map size, I think. 12 yards if you want, yeah. You spur your horse forwards. As you do so, the creatures coming out of the woods, these undeady, walking deady kind of Indian things, all kind of stop and stare at Billy.
Can I jump off my horse?
Yeah.
I will jump off my horse and smack my horse at the arse so it just sort of disappears off.
Never to be seen
It's
He
again.
looks over his shoulder at you and winks.
Deadwood.
Tom, you're up.
Right, I'm going to move forward.
As far as you can tell, all the activity is happening up near the shack.
That's 12 squares.
That is weird. That is so weird the way the lighting works now.
What's the distance? Okay. I'm going to shoot the one that's... Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Take a shot at him.
Okay.
I definitely reloaded this gun last week and down to 1 shot on this.
Is it saying not reloaded?
No, it's just saying I've got shots 1 of 6. After last week's game, I reloaded it and it's obviously not saved it. But I've got enough for this shot. It's a hit.
Oh, nice.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, again, you shoot the undead Indian, striking at Carmichael, watching with satisfaction as the creature is slammed against the railings and collapses in a heap, unmoving.
Reload that thing.
Stepping from the side of the tree, you see another one raise his bow and shoot you.
Thought you were going to say that.
Oh, that's not good. Okay. He strikes true. Look at that nasty roll. And he's going to roll damage with a raise. Okay, do you wish to spend a Benny to soak? So actually, if you highlight yourself and click on resolve damage, it gives you an option to either take the damage or spend a Benny.
It's not giving me anything like that. What am I supposed to be clicking at?
So if you look at, okay, you didn't see that. Okay, so now you'll see it. So that resolve damage.
Ah, yeah.
If you click on that, it'll pop up a dialog box. So you're either going to take the damage or roll a Benny.
I think I'm going to roll a Benny.
So click on roll Benny.
And a Benny to soak. That's the one. And it's still got a vigorous test soak roll. So it's still roll one.
Yep, roll that. Nice. Okay, so basically, so this thing shoots a bow at you, and the only thing I can kind of really rationalize this is it just kind of glances across your arm, kind of cutting into your clothing, drawing a thin line of blood, but doesn't really do anything significant to you.
That's what I like to hear.
Michael is incapacitated. Carmichael continues to bleed from his stomach. Okay. From the distance, a bow is loosed at Billy. But it is at medium range and misses. An arrow whizzes over past Billy.
Goddamn undead engines.
This one is a little bit closer, so he is going to not use his tomahawk. He's going to shoot you at short range. Will miss. Colt, you're up.
Right, well, I was going to run, so I was going to reload, sorry, but I'm going to drop my shotgun to the ground.
Yep.
I'm going to do a run roll.
Oh, okay. So it's normal movement plus a d6. So you get another 3 squares.
Yeah.
That way?
My priority is Carmichael.
Okay.
I was
Right.
half expecting to run the opposite direction, but
So measure it in squares. Don't worry about the map sizing. So do you want to move, I think, 9 squares maybe? Yeah, 9 squares in total.
I can get to that, can I? Cool.
Yeah. You can do something with a -2. If you draw a weapon, though, and then shoot, you'll be at a -4.
Do you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to shoot this one here to my left with my Colt.
Okay. So you are at a -4 in total. But that's your short shot. Yeah. Double barrel shotgun, so you need to use your Colt.
Oh, do you know?
That's habit.
There we go.
Holy shit!
Look, be a lady. God's on my side.
And he's still going.
Bloody
Do
hell.
I get a,
Very good smite.
do I get a raise?
You absolutely get a raise. Yeah, roll your damage with a raise.
Can that bullet ricochet between them all?
If only. That's freaking awesome.
The JFK magic bullet.
Yeah.
Pulls out this hovering arrow.
So where's my damage? Oh, damage. There we go.
2d6 with raise.
Anticlimax. Sorry.
Yeah, but it should kill it because no, it doesn't. It applies shaking status. Okay, shaking Stephen status. All right. So you basically you shoot as you run past this.
I've got to lighten up to Carmichael. As soon as I caught in my eye, pulled my gun out and just bang.
Yeah. Blake, you're up.
It went through one eye, it ricocheted off the skull and came out the other eye.
If you draw something, is it -2? Did you say?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ride. I'm going to ride past that one, but as I'm there, I'll reach behind me onto my saddlebag and take out my wood axe.
Okay. You're going to do a reach around for your wood axe.
I am, yeah, and I'm going to swing. Because even with my even with my rifle, I'd be drawing it anyway. So
he's doing a reach around with his wood chopper.
yeah, and I will be swinging at it as I go past.
Go for it.
Oh, what is this, chaps?
So it's an improvised medium weapon.
Cool. With a -2.
Yeah, so it's that. So I don't know whether I can.
It's going to be a fighting roll, right?
It is, yeah. It's the lower of my fighting or my riding. So yeah, it's fighting.
Yeah. And then you're unfamiliar, so it's -2.
Is it unfamiliar for improvised?
Sorry, no, it's just -2 anyway for
-2 for drawing.
Yeah, for drawing. Yeah, sorry.
Do we get any advantage for being higher in melee? I can't remember.
I don't think
No.
so. So it's just multi-action penalty at the top. You're on a -2.
Yeah.
That'll do.
I do think you should get +2 for looking cool while doing it.
All right, no, sorry, I forgot to say that's a minus. I forgot the -2. It's a miss.
Okay, no worries.
And I will carry on past it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Round 3. Billy. Everybody gets I believe everybody gets a
That's handy.
Everybody gets
everybody gets a Benny for the red joker. And Billy, you're at the top of the round. You have a red joker, which means you get +2 to any action you make, but you can also defer your action to whenever you want in the round, or of course you can go first.
I'm going to go first. First thing I'm going to do is shout at Colt, "Get the old man!" And then I'm going to shoot.
Shoot.
Colt shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
I know what you meant.
You're not funny, buddy.
All right, that's a hit with a raise. You stagger the creature. That's about it.
Okay. I've got a bit of movement, haven't I?
Yep.
This that veranda. Can I just jump up onto it?
Give me an athletics check. Oh, absolutely. You do it with style. You absolutely do it with style. Nice. Okay.
And this is where we find out there's a window behind him, and one of the undead grabs him and pulls him through.
Yeah.
Don't give him ideas.
Walk up to Carmichael. And I shall put my right hand on his wound and say, "Though I walk through the midst of trouble, you will revive me. You shall stretch forth your hand against the wrath of my enemies, and your right hand shall save me. I shall cast my heal."
Go for it. Spend your power points and roll your faith. Okay. That is looking good. You're healing a walking dead. I love it.
Oh crap!
Do you want to throw your? Do you want to throw?
Yeah,
do you-
you
throw
target
your-
hit the wrong one.
Throw your heal into the chat, please, so I can see what it does. All right.
Do you want me to roll again?
Sure. Same outcome. So, heal selected then.
That hopefully do something.
Didn't see it do anything.
Do you take something because it's an NPC that you're healing?
How many wounds does it heal?
Critical failure, success.
Removes 1 wound, and a raise removes 2. Yeah. Okay. So you will remove 1.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. For some reason, it didn't. So I think that means he's no longer incapacitated. Okay.
So I can now feel his pain. Awesome.
Yeah. So he has. Don't forget to reduce your power points.
Yep.
His eyes flutter open and he kind of looks up at you, slightly confused but still in pain as well.
I've got a slight glowing nimbus around me at the moment.
Okay.
Easiest to hit.
This one comes round. He's going to target Billy. Billy's going to count as in some cover. So, going to give Billy light cover. Yeah. Okay, arrow zings into the balcony, into the banister, sorry. The veranda just near where your hand was as you leapt over.
Shield
Tom,
of guard. Halt.
you are up, Tom.
Okay. I'll move up a bit. No, I'm spoiled for choice. Okay, I'll go for the one that's just shot at Billy.
Yep.
The other one looks to be a little bit stunned at the moment.
All right, hit. Roll your damage.
Goes to a raise, but not quite. Yeah.
No, you'll probably make it shaken. Yes.
That's good enough.
Okay. You hit it, you make it shaken. Blake, you're up.
I'm going to drop off the back of the horse.
Okay.
Giving it a tap on its rump
No.
to
Yeah.
push it to the sort of like the right of the building, so it's out of the way. So like
Yep.
aiming it over there.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go and face up to yon fella over here
Okay.
and crack him with the axe.
I would say at the moment you have the upper hand in the fight.
Snake eyes.
Snake eyes.
At that point. Okay.
Can't use a penny on that.
We've just been given a new one.
Can't Benny a snake eyes, can you? Or can you in Suede?
Oh, I did.
Well, let's assume you can today. I'll double check it for next time.
It may have changed in this one. I can't remember.
I did on a skill check earlier.
Yeah.
It's actually given me the option to Benny, so I would have thought they'd have coded that in.
You would think so.
Clicking on the Benny isn't actually.
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me either. I had to
Then
spend
you
the
can't.
money on the draw.
Then you can't. I would say that's why it's not letting you do it. Are we going to assume not then at the moment?
Looking.
It is looking.
I'd assume you wouldn't be able to, otherwise there'd be no such thing as a critical failure.
The only exceptions are critical failures, which ends the attempt and must be accepted. That's fine.
Okay, so you can't Benny. Okay, so my mistake last time, but you can't Benny on a snake eyes. Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
so, okay,
Yeah. There's only a notice roll mine last time anyway.
yeah. Dr. Newton, left behind.
Okay, let's ride my horse up. I'm going to go 1, 2, there. Now, the scale of these templates seems somewhat out. I've just looked up the size of a cone template, and it should be 18 yards long.
Gotcha.
Which is 9 squares, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's on the back of the there's an enormous template on the back cover of the Suede rulebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think the one that's there should be double the size. So with that in mind,
yep,
I'm going to roll my weird science again.
I believe they still sell those as plastic templates from Suede as well.
Okay. That's all right, isn't it? 4.
That's a hit. Yep.
So we're going to do another.
But guess
Let's-
flake this time as well.
Right, I figured out how to do the direction of the template. So I can put the template down and I do. It should be like that, but it should be double the length.
Okay. What? Just ping where you're expecting it to go.
So 18 yards from that, that's the, although we can see that, but 18 yards from there
Hang on.
is sort of there.
Yay!
So I'll tell what you've got there.
Jesus
I'll take that.
Christ.
Okay. All right. So you're going to get those two. Okay. So that's going to be a hit on both. Spend your PowerPoint if you haven't done,
So the PowerPoint.
and roll your damage.
I think I am just. Oh, subtract my PowerPoints there. Perfect. Yep. And roll damage. Not quite so good.
Okay. So I will apply the damage to both of them. So apply resolve damage. Okay. The fact that these are both shaken means the shaking gets converted to a wound, and so they die. Again, you bring your hands together, and an arc of electricity flows out of your hands, striking the two undead Indians. And again, you watch as they flicker and flash in the darkening evening, and then collapse to the ground, motionless.
Is there a skill roll missing there?
I did a weird science one just before.
Weird science.
Oh, there you
is
go.
fine.
Sorry, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not dark here anymore. It's just been lit up by a couple
Yeah.
of lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Okay, possible critical failure. Okay, stays. And then the last one moves to here. He's going to target Dr. Newton with his bow out at medium range. Not medium cover, idiot. Oh, unfortunately, he's going to hit you. No raise. Okay. So again, I'll unhide this to reveal it to everybody. So if you target yourself and hit resolve damage, you'll get an option to roll a Benny if you wish to.
So target me.
Oh no, not roll a Benny. Sorry, apply damage, because I don't think you roll a Benny to soak, do you? You roll a vigor roll to soak.
Where's apply?
So how does that work? Your own vigor plus toughness, is it? Or just vigor?
It's vigor plus. I can't remember. I can't remember.
I can't see anything to toggle to apply damage. Am I being obtuse?
You
Just
click
scroll
on the
down the
resolve
chat.
damage, and it should give you the options there.
Yeah, scroll down the chat a bit more.
Right, resolve damage, okay.
Yeah.
Damage, no armor. I've got adjust damage, or I've got apply shaken status.
Apply shaken status.
There we go.
Okay, so you don't roll against that. Okay, so basically this arrow kind of gets really close to you and kind of puts you a little bit off your game.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
I think I've just broken the game. There we go. Okay. Round 4. We go to Colt at the top with a red joker that gives everybody another Benny. Thank you very much, Colt. Again,
No
likewise,
problem.
you can go first, or you can go any time in the round, and you get a +2 to your actions.
Okay, well, I'm just going to heal Thingamabob again.
Go on,
Go
Michael.
for it.
Carmichael, yeah.
Okay, make your faith roll.
Do you get bonuses to this as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice.
Oh, flipping heck. Right, see. Okay.
That's for the rise, so that's two.
Yeah,
Two.
so throw your heal into chat for me.
Such a good role. He's now 10 years younger as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you heal him too. And there you go.
Chop your power points.
He's completely healed. Alrighty.
The Lord finds you worthy.
I believe his battered guts go.
You better stop fiddling with them kids then, I suppose.
No, that's Colt is fiddling with a miner.
Yeah, what about the children in the mine?
Jeepers, those are almost dead, aren't they?
Yep. Well, one is.
Advances forwards. He's going to target Bill. He's going to target Hom again. Not again.
I mean, again,
but-
he's not. I was going to say he's not talking to me before. Will you stop rolling more than one dice on me?
That's a hit with a raise, unfortunately.
Oh, snake eyes.
Good job you got a Benny.
Yes, Miss
Okay, so-
Davis.
Again, resolve damage and go through the process. So resolve damage, apply wounds, roll your vigor.
Spend penny to soak,
Yeah, spend Benny to soak. Yeah.
and then. Oh,
Oh, nice. Again, rather than it really hitting you, again, it just kind of wings you, kind of catching you across your leg, leaving a small trail, line of blood through your chaps. Blake.
yeah, chaps give one armor as well.
Yeah, you're not wearing chaps, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, are you? Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am going to.
From the tracker.
I'm sick of this epoxy wood axe. I'm going to draw my Bowie knife and attack it with that instead.
Okay, go for it.
But still, drawing's a -2, yeah, isn't it? So
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. You much prefer your Bowie knife, do you?
yes. Reason I would do it. Okay, so I'll apply the -2 for unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
breeze.
Or the multi-action penalty at the top. It's your call.
Yeah.
That's hurting you.
Yeah.
Gonna Benny it?
How many bennies have I got? I've got 3 now.
Yeah. We are going to finish at the end of the combat, so
Yeah, I will
you
benny
might
it
as well,
just in
might
case.
as well burn them.
I've still got 3 left.
Okay.
Okay. Nice this time.
Yay.
Nice.
Depends what his parry is.
And you got a raise.
Oh, is it against his parry? His parry
It will
is
be. Yeah,
5.
it's, yeah.
Okay, so it's 5, so it's going to equal it, which is going to hit, isn't it? Or do you have to beat it?
I think you have to beat it.
Okay. It bats you away with its tomahawk.
Is it attack? Yeah, I think you have to beat it. I can't remember.
Target's number to hit an opponent is equal to the opponent's parry score.
Okay, you hit
Okay.
it. Roll your damage.
So, yeah.
Right.
I happen to have the page open.
Thank you.
No. It's not going to be an option for damage, though.
Yeah, it's at the top, though. If you go back to your card,
Ah, okay.
you've got damage, strength, defense.
It doesn't flow from a hit, does it?
No,
right, okay.
no. It's not as sophisticated as Pathfinder and D&D. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. You see, you roll and
Okay, you jam that down, you jam that knife into this thing's head and twist it. And as you pull the Bowie knife back, the head comes with it. You kind of flick it over your shoulder. The head sails behind you and hits Colt in the back.
I'm just picturing you pulling her with the spine still attached.
Dr. Newton, you
Worth
should
the
have an
penalty.
option to
Spend a penny.
spend a penny to shake, and you may continue, I believe, when you spend a penny to do that.
if you did that, I'd be wondering about him doing weird noises and going, trophy.
That's what I was picturing as well.
Clack, 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 clack.
Weird science roll. Let's get that done.
Oh, that's one with a raise. Nice.
Oh, okay.
Please
What does a
don't use.
raise give me?
You do create Calibrock.
Oh, cool. All right, so same again.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
It's going to be with a raise, so it becomes 3d6.
Yep.
And you
Is
also
this the one that's
patent,
in the code?
issues.
Yeah, it's the one with the cone.
You're going to hit me, aren't you?
No, I can, because I can tweak it to go just there.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
let me hang
fix
on. Let me
that out for me.
Yeah, well, my hair's going to be standing on
I
end.
was going to say, you get a bit of
Yeah,
static.
a bit of a breeze on the way past.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Roll your damage. 3d6
raise.
damage with it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's killed it. Nice.
I'm going to put the PowerPoint cost in.
That was lovely.
Ooh, that didn't kill it. It's still alive. Because you needed one more point to get a raise against its.
So you spend a penny to redo it then?
Can
I've
you
got
spend
reroll
it?
with a penny
Yeah, you can reroll with a penny if you wish.
for my damage. Why not?
Oh, that's better.
That'll do it. That was a penny well spent.
He stood there going, and you go, oh shit.
Hang on a sec. Let me do this. So resolve damage. Takes 2 wounds. Dies. All right. As the last arc of energy flows from Dr. Newton's hands, striking the final undead Indian, the silence descends upon the area, and all you can hear is the quiet moaning of Carmichael. At that point, we're going to call it a night, gentlemen.
What are you doing to that miner to make him moan?
We will pick up.
The same thing I do to every miner to make a moan, and then I heal them afterwards.
That is very rude. We will pick up next week.
That was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was good. Although I seem to have dropped off the combat track. I don't know why.
I've just killed the combat
You're
tracker completely.
Yeah, we're all off.
Oh, I didn't know. I actually dropped off.
Oh, did you?
I noticed you weren't there as well.
Oh, weird.
Right.
I don't know.
I knew I was last. That's all
What
I
happened is you died.
Yeah,
I wonder if I'd somehow
killed him.
knocked you off by accident as I moved you over.
Oh, really?
Over there.
That's what I said sometimes in the choir.
Yeah, what you did was you found the rocking chair on that porch and just sat down and started rocking backwards and forwards rather than joining it.
Either that or I jumped over the balcony, found the rocking chair and went arse over head into the building.
That was possible too. Bless you.
The shoe.
Cool, that was good.
Cool. Glad you all enjoyed it. I
Alright,
enjoyed
so
it. This evening.
Very, very good.
Move the
Yeah.
story a little bit forward, and I will see you all
Later.
next week. Night all.
Good night.
All
Take
right.
care, all. Be
Night.
safe.